This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's a little bit of a different video today. Basically, a few weeks ago on the Friday live stream, I mentioned that I was going to bring the then current Wednesday series of videos, the Learn My Licks videos, to a close and replace it with a series of videos based upon viewer suggestions and viewer questions, that sort of thing. And there was a fantastic suggestion in the chat on the live stream. I can't remember for the life of me who said it, so apologies if you're watching. But someone suggested, why not do a video on how to teach the guitar? What a great idea, I thought. So that's what we're doing today. Now, I've done a video similar to this in the past, but it was more a kind of 5 things I've learned as a guitar teacher over the years, that kind of thing. So I'm going to be a little bit more specific today in the way we're doing this, and I'm going to show you how I structure a lesson. It's just the way that I've sort of evolved into this over the years, and it seems to be quite effective, and it seems to work. So that's what we're going to do. Now, this basic template here that we're going to go through, you could apply this to anything that you're going to teach a student of the guitar, but today we are going to basically look at it in action in how I teach people power chords. Okay, so if you're new to power chords, this is how I would teach you how to play power chords. So what's the first thing you do then? Well, you define what it is you're going to be looking at in the lesson. So, you say, today we're looking at power chords. And then, obviously, that won't mean a lot to people who don't know what power chords are. So you explain what a power chord is. You define not only what you're looking at, but what it is. So you say, well, a power chord is a 2-note chord made up of the first and the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes of a scale. So it's the first and fifth notes. So that's why it's called a 5 chord. So that's what they're called. That's what it is. Now, what's it used for? So you then go on to explain that a power chord, this 2-note chord, this 5 chord type of thing, is used for playing riffs and accompaniment in styles of music which typically use an overdriven or distorted guitar tone. The reason for that is that if you play, for instance, a full minor chord, let's do a D minor chord, with a distorted guitar tone, it tends to sound a little bit messy and flabby because there's, as you increase the gain on your guitar tone, you get lots more overtones from each note, and some of those overtones start kind of arguing with each other, and it just tends to sound a bit unpleasant. So you slim it down and just play it as a simple root and fifth power chord, like that. You then basically go on to explain that because a power chord has so few notes in it, it's just 2 notes rather than a 3-note chord, that it isn't a major or a minor chord, and you can branch off into bits and pieces of theory based upon that. But it's, if we're focusing on just getting the student playing, then there's no real need to go too far down that route. So the next thing to do is to explain how power chords work, and this is usually when the student gets a handout something like this. You can see there's the 2 main power chord shapes there, one with a root on the E string and one with a root on the A string. By this time, hopefully the student knows how to read chord boxes and knows that these crosses here mean don't play that string, and hopefully they also know how to count up and down the neck 1 fret at a time. So this shape here will give you an F5 at the first fret, an F sharp 5 or a G flat 5 at the second fret, and so on and so on. And this shape here will give you the same chords but at different frets, because it's got a root on a different string. So that is, typically that. So that's going to come in handy for the student later when we look at, actually using the power chords. So let's come back here now like this. So you've defined what you're looking at. You've defined, which is power chords. You've said, okay, we're looking at power chords. You've explained what a power chord is. You've explained where power chords tend to get used. The next thing to do really is to demonstrate what power chords sound like, and the kind of context that you usually find them in. So at this point, I usually put together a little demo piece that could sound a bit like this. So there you go, just a nice easy little power chord demo piece. I left out anything that's even remotely kind of advanced from that, like, palm muting and stuff, although it does have a little bit of an inkling of that there, because we've got to learn to control the chord. The difference between just hitting the chord and letting it ring like that, and that kind of thing like that, so you're kind of getting the person, you've looked at what you're doing with this hand, and you're also looking at what you're doing with this hand. That's something that, many, I don't want to kind of be disparaging here, but people who aren't guitar teachers, people who play the guitar, and a friend will ask them, oh, can you show me a few things? I often get students who've had that experience coming to me for lessons, and they'll have been shown in some detail quite often what to do with this hand, but because this hand is so intuitive for an experienced guitarist, it often gets overlooked. So you bring a little bit of that in, so you got the not so necessarily muting, but kind of controlling the sustain of the chord like that, just bringing the hand onto the strings to calm things down and create those rests in the music. So that's you've defined what we're looking at, power chords. You've explained what power chords are. You've explained how they're used, what sort of situation you use them in, and you've demonstrated them being used. What's the next thing then? Well, you need to set an exercise for the students. So they'll, if I'm teaching this via like a Zoom link or something like that, then that demonstration you saw me do earlier, that will probably be, I'll invite them to record that part of the Zoom call, so they've got me a demonstration of me doing that, that they can watch back. Or I might just have a prepared thing like that I'll say, okay, here's a video of doing it. So now you've got to go away and learn to play that yourself. How are you going to do that? Well, we go back to the PDF again that we looked at earlier. You give them a chord chart with all of the necessary chords on. I haven't got that to hand, but I'll edit it into the video as I'm doing this section. So you give them the chord chart, and you give them this PDF here with the power chord shapes on, and you then say, okay, you've got all of the information. by this time, obviously, you've had them practicing the actual shapes and everything, and you've ironed out any wrinkles in, which finger goes where and all that sort of stuff. But basically, you send them away at the end of the lesson with, a goal to achieve. Come back next week and see if you can play that piece along with the backing track and get it sounding like the demonstration that you've got. And, that's an achievable goal for anybody that's relatively new to this topic, or any other topic you set a similar goal. It's important to not blind the student with science and be over ambitious on their behalf. Give them something they can do and achieve in a reasonable frame of time, and they'll feel like they've achieved something and made progress. And if you're making a living like I am as a guitar teacher, that's good for your bottom line, because they're going to keep coming back and paying you for the next lesson. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, I'll put that video of that little demonstration piece there, and the backing track, and the chord chart that by now I've edited into this video, and that power chord sheet and all the usual gubbins and stuff. I'll put all of that up on my Patreon page for you. It'll be up there. There's the address and the link is in the description, and as I'm sure you know, it's $3 a month or £2.50 a month, and you get access to all of these extra resources that go along with these YouTube videos. Massive thank you to everybody who supports me in that, or any of the other ways, all of which are also linked down below. So there you go, folks. That is how I tend to structure a guitar lesson. Let's run through it again. Define what you're looking at, explain what it is that you're looking at, explain why it exists and how it's used, demonstrate it, and then explain how it works, and then give the student some kind of exercise to go away and work on based upon the information and skills that you've demonstrated and coached them with rather in the lesson. That's how I structure a guitar lesson, and if you're looking to become a guitar teacher, that's pretty much a template I would recommend, because it seems to work. And there you go, folks. That is the video for today. Hope you found it useful and informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not give me a like while you're at it? Don't forget, as always, as I mentioned earlier, every Friday we have a live stream, 5 PM UK time, and we basically have a beer and talk about music and guitars. What a great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.